During a spontaneous road trip bound for the Midwestern United States, I chose to travel the mountain pass using the Mount Hood Highway 26 and tried resting at a one-gas station town called Lapine, Oregon. After the terror-filled early morning hours of hearing what I heard, semis with machines and human screams, I decided to head back to Portland that morning. I got gas and left using the Highway 97 and the Highway 58 westbound route. When I pulled over in the wooded areas, just 2 quick stops on the shoulder, I could easily hear the desperate souls screaming for their lives, "God help us!" Directly over the first ridge, an average of 1,000 yards I would guess. By now I'm starting to get pretty pumped up and my adrenaline it's starting to rush a little bit because of the intensity of the situation. Keep in mind the backstory on my departure to the Midwest was to get away from Portland because of some industrial homicidal maniacs that I just vanished the night before, and I'm going out there to go and see if my sister is safe. Well, on the way out of town I could clearly hear in my head the telepathic voices repeated the same thing: "There's a nuke on the way. There's a nuke on the way." I finally established with that voice that the nuke would come tomorrow. Well, on my return trip from Lapine that day, when lo and behold, you know what I saw as soon as I got on the freeway there? Coming up and passing me that day when I got onto was a pair of flatbed semi-tractor trailers with a trio of nuclear bombs. My gut instinct told me I have to take action, and sure enough within minutes I found myself in front of the lead semi, safely pulled over now on the shoulder, while the other semi with the nukes was waiting in the distance on the shoulder up ahead of us, for his buddy to catch back up. The emergency dispatch and I agreed to let them continue on until the exit 19 way station just north of Vancouver, Washington on the Interstate 205 freeway. They went into the inspection lane and I was ready to commute back to Portland, and so I did. It wasn't long after I got back to Portland that I found myself on the free traveling north again, when all of a sudden coming from a semi-tractor trailer were the sounds of humans screaming again for help. Naturally my instinct kicked into high gear again and I safely cordoned this semi over to the side of the road between the airport way on-ramp and the I-205 northbound freeway. When the emergency crews show up, they gathered in a team of 5, ready to toss me, Portland police officers. They began towards me, ignoring my complaint about the semi, and generously gave chase up the freeway until I tripped. 2 of their tossers, one after another, shocking the lights out of me, causing a facial laceration from the falling impact on concrete, and when I wasn't expecting it. Right after that 5 of them held me down while one of them injected the COVID-19 virus into my left arm. I could clearly and easily see the wording, COVID-19, on the hypodermic needle. That was one of the larger ones used by the industry. So the cops are killing this citizen with taxpayers' money, and when the sergeant walked up they told him that I was being uncooperative. That's about the last thing I remember until I woke up 2 days later at the Providence Portland Medical Center with apparently a 6-month civil commit hold on me for safety and mental health issues. But the date quickly changed from 6 months to October 27th because I made a telepathic promise to my doctor. I threatened to vanish half of the staff if they didn't let me out by then. Sadly, 2 days after I was released for the Providence, I went to the nearby Clackamas County Sheriff's Office in Portland Precinct, detonated a remote explosive device, and it probably killed all 3 individuals that was working that afternoon when I went to ask them about the long-term possible health effects to my being from the COVID-19 injection. When I was just about to the door, I could hear the same lady say on the phone to somebody, "So we're giving our citizens COVID-19 injections now, huh?" And that's when the explosion occurred. So where do you go when something this serious happens and there's nowhere to turn for help for our safety? It is so far out there that nobody believes me because it sounds impossible, but that's what happened, and I hope it doesn't happen to anybody else. I also pray that God gives me and the people of this community the resources we need to find justice for those corrupt officers and rebuild respect somehow for the system again. In memory of those innocent lives, I would like everyone to have a reflective moment of silence right now, honoring the brave peace officers that are now at rest from that day in late October 2020. On November 5, 2020, 4 more Portland police officers administered another injection to me during an arrest by design, and in between those 2 injections, I received one from 5 Portland Providence medical security contractors on like October 30, 2020 in the ER room when I went to check on my sliver I had in my finger. Long story short here on that for now, but it'll be shared in full light later with those details. I want to inspire everybody on this planet to just be safe and stay vigilant during these times of apparent depopulation and different agendas by select groups and governments. My favorite thing is to pray and simply vanish any threat that you or your neighbors may have. You'd be surprised how powerful you could be, which is the little prayer and the right intent. Literally vanished half of a platoon of industrial homicide maniacs and their equipment at the end of October. Also, that was the best moment in my life as a hero and patriot protecting us. Thanks for reading my stories, and remember to hit the like button. Please share, and all comments are welcome, especially ideas about what you would do if this happened to you. Dragon Slater.